Hey guys, Verbal95, recording live from your local county prison cell. So I've been a little preoccupied, so that probably explains why there's been a little gap in my videos. I've just been kind of preoccupied with some stuff going on, things I had to get through this week, I'm gonna have to get through this week. My brain is still on doing episodes and all of that. Whether it's which ones do I do in what order. Do I know this character well enough? Maybe I should look them up. Look something up. Find out about that. So this one, it's not gonna be a filler one per se, but it's gonna be something that I don't think they would do. It's gonna be something that it's not silly, but it's something that people probably won't take very seriously. It's going to be Princess Morbucks from Powerpuff Girls and Syndrome from The Incredibles. There was a little bit of debate over how I was going to do this, and even to this day, like even as I am recording this, I am almost 100% sure there's a better matchup for these two characters. So don't be surprised if you end up seeing a Princess Morbucks versus someone else, or a Syndrome versus somebody else. But to some degree, I think these characters fit together very well in the sense that they were both rejected the opportunity to become their heroes, or become like their heroes, or work with their heroes. So they opted to destroy their heroes. They opted to be better than their heroes. So I think by that, by that logic, there's probably, I think like, okay, well, Princess Morbucks was told you can't be a Powerpuff Girl, so she's like, you know what? Not only am I gonna be a Powerpuff Girl, but I'm gonna be better than any of the Powerpuff Girls. And Buddy or Syndrome is, he's like, he was told, I work alone, you can't, be my sidekick, and he's like, okay, if I can't be your sidekick, I'm going to kill you and a bunch of other supers, and I'm going to make the entire concept of supers irrelevant. So this is actually pretty, I guess to that degree, this is a pretty cool fight. I mean, there was some stuff I was looking at, like Princess Morbucks and Jack Spicer, or something like that, but I don't know. So, let's start this out. So, Princess Morbucks, her debut was in one episode. She's had other episodes since then, but basically, she was, like I said earlier, she was told, can't be Powerpuff Girl, and she's like, well, my daddy's gonna buy, that sounded weird me saying that, my daddy's gonna buy me everything I need to become a Powerpuff Girl. So she got a lot of equipment like, grappling hooks, tiaras that she can throw Wonder Woman style, and, a laser shooting tiara and all of that, and then a jetpack, and eventually she donned the thing that pretty much makes her a viable threat, which is her Cybertronic armor. So this is armor that allows her to seemingly specifically counter the powers of the Powerpuff Girls at that time, as throughout the series, you should know if you've, seen such an amazing piece of animation history, that, after a while, they just kind of developed so many powers so quickly that they could just kind of do whatever they wanted. They were shooting lightning, they were doing energy blasts, they were creating tornadoes, and they could pretty much do whatever they want. But, for instance, like, Bubbles was, using a sonic shout, and she was able to just kind of reflect it right back at her. Buttercup was shooting, lasers at her, and she was just standing there, and they were just bouncing off of her. And her suit specifically does give her, quote-unquote, power, sorry, power, not quote unquote, let's not quote, but power, exceeding that of a Powerpuff Girl. So, and this is shown when she kind of trashes Buttercup, trashes Bubbles, and then Blossom comes in and kind of kicks some ass. And then they all three come in and she, I mean, Buttercup and Bubbles kind of underestimated her, and that would have been, if Blossom had also done that, that would have probably been the end of it. But, not only did Blossom not underestimate her, but she also waited long enough for the other two to get up and just beat her all together. So it seems that she is stronger than, one Powerpuff Girl. Just not three at once. Which, is scaling the power of a Powerpuff Girl would mean that she's capable of, and she has outflown them before in the Christmas special, where they were flying to the North Pole, and she, even though she had a head start, she was continuously able to maintain the advantage of, she had on them, meaning that she was flying at least as fast as they were. Now, we've seen, I think, Bubbles specifically run around the world in, was it 7.8 seconds? So, run around a lap around the world. So, if maybe flight speed and running speed are two different entities for these characters, but seems like you wouldn't fly anywhere if you could run around the world in 7.8 seconds. We've also seen them escape orbit. Now, they have to wear spacesuits, but we've seen the Powerpuff Girls escape orbit before. I've also, I think, covered a little bit of the powers of the Powerpuff Girls way back when I did the Battle Royale episode of them. But that's probably not aged fantastically, so let's not, I'm not plugging, let's not go into that. We've also, they've escaped orbits, they've been able to wear spacesuits, but they've escaped orbit. They've also been able to, lift giant monsters and, do things like that. So if they're, she doesn't have the same durability as the girls were able to, break apart the suit, but the suit does give her, seemingly speed and strength, at least. Maybe not durability, but speed and strength equivalent to that of a Powerpuff Girl. As well as things like lasers, shields, stuff like that, and rocket-propelled flight. So, scaling her to a Powerpuff Girl, that is maybe a little generous, but she does seem to scale to them, and that would mean that she's at just an absurd level of strength in general. Now let's go into Syndrome. Now, Syndrome is, like I said, he was a kid who wanted to be Mr. Incredible's sidekick, and got shut down, and he said, you know what? I'm going to kill as many people as I have to get to you, and then I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to replace everything you believe in with my own, I'm going to change the world to switch their beliefs from people like you to people like me. So not only does he, his intent was to not only kill a bunch of supers, kill Mr. Incredible, then become the greatest hero, but also sell his, he doesn't have superpowers, so he would sell his, gadgets and things like that, his weapons to, just common everyday people, and that way everyone would have powers, and that way the need for, heroes would be, heroes would become obsolete if everyone had superpowers. So, creating a, you only ever really see him use, 2 or 3 gadgets. He uses rocket boots, he uses, 0-point energy, which is essentially a personalized, stasis field that just allows him to, surround somebody with energy that pretty much prevents them from moving and, move them just almost like Yeah, it's a beam of energy that basically lets him just control them and move them through space. Not like teleportation, but like almost like telekinesis, where he can just move them, but it is from a beam of energy. Um, and then there's what? There's the eye bomb that I believe he used, which was just a tiny little wrist bomb that was able to create a giant geyser-like explosion. And then there's the oh yeah, the Terrordrome, which is just a giant robot that was which had taken the which had taken the fighting data it had from being defeated by multiple other supers and killing multiple other supers and just upgrading itself and learning as a learning computer. It was even able to learn that since Syndrome was the one controlling it, that it should, knock him out, and then it can do whatever it wants. And the only thing that was strong enough to actually defeat it was itself, like its own weaponry. So the Terrordrome is probably like the final boss fight here in this fight. Like Syndrome would be there, but the Terrordrome would be the thing that he calls in when he's in a pinch. So how would this fight go? Syndrome's got some tricks. The 0 point energy is probably something that would cause some issues. The bomb would be something that you would look out for. Might come in clutch. The issue is that Princess Morbucks has him so outclassed in terms of power here that, and I don't think the Terrordrome is going to survive her. Honestly, I mean, it's strong enough to survive itself. Okay, I can imagine that if she can match power with a Powerpuff Girl, that she can probably smack that thing around. Like, yeah, it might get a shot in. It's very durable and everything, but she can take care of that thing. That thing is not a game ender. And then probably after that, Syndrome's ass is just hers. Like, she'll just fucking wreck him. So, little girl's gonna kill a cool supervillain guy, I think. So yeah, I think Princess Morbucks would probably win this. Just in the fact that if she can fly semi as fast as the Powerpuff Girls, lift semi near as much, if she can scale to them almost in anywhere, she's got such an overwhelming advantage over him that it's just too much for him to handle. So, yeah, I would say that she's very comfortably got this fight. So anyway, I'll try to have the next fight up and be a little well researched about it, but I'm just gonna be working with the same schedule I pretty much use.